By 1428, the Hundred Years' War had lasted nearly a century. England held most of northern France, including Paris. The Dauphin, heir to the French throne, was uncrowned and running out of land. Orléans was the last major city on the Loire, still in French hands. If it fell, nothing stood between the English and the complete conquest of France. It had been under siege for 7 months. The defenders were considering surrender. The Dauphin's court at Chinon was in despair. No general could break the siege. No diplomat could end the war. Then, a teenage peasant girl from a village in Lorraine asked for an audience with the king. Joan of Arc was born around 1,412 inches, the village of Domremy. She had never led soldiers. She had never held a sword. She had been hearing voices since she was 13. She believed they were the voices of saints, and she believed they were telling her what to do. The voices gave her specific instructions. Raise the siege of Orléans. Lead the Dauphin to Reims to be crowned. Drive the English from France. She was 17 years old. She walked to the garrison at Vaucouleurs and asked the commander to send her to the king. He laughed. She came back. He changed his mind. She rode 240 miles through English-occupied territory to reach the Dauphin's court. 11 days in winter, in male clothing to avoid detection. When she arrived at Chinon, she was an unknown peasant girl. When she left, she had an army. The Dauphin tried to test her. He hid among his courtiers and put someone else in his place. She walked directly to him. Charles agreed to let her lead the relief of Orléans. No one could explain why. No one could explain her. Before she was permitted to command troops, the church examined her for weeks at Patay. Clerics questioned her theology. Matrons confirmed she was what she said she was. They found nothing wrong. She was given her army. Joan asked for a sword buried behind the altar of a church in Fierbois, a sword she had never seen but described perfectly. It was found exactly where she said. She carried a white banner instead, she said, because she preferred not to kill. On April 27, 1429, Joan set out for Orléans. She brought supplies the city desperately needed. She brought soldiers. She brought something the garrison had run out of completely: the belief that France could still win. On April 29th, Joan entered Orléans. The city had waited 7 months for relief. When the people saw her, they pressed around her horse and tried to touch her armor. One touched her torch and set his coat on fire. She did not stop moving. On May 7th, Joan led the assault on Les Tourelles, the English fortified position controlling the Loire bridge. She was struck by an arrow in the shoulder. Her commanders told her to rest. She pulled the arrow out herself. She had the wound dressed. She returned to the assault. The French took Les Tourelles before nightfall. The next morning, May 8th, the English abandoned the siege. The city that had been surrounded for 7 months was free. The English withdrew. They had held siege works for 7 months. A teenage girl had broken them in 9 days. Victory at Orléans had a snowball effect. French volunteers came from every direction. Town after town along the Loire fell. Jargeau, Meung, Beaugency. Each victory brought more men. Each victory made the next easier. At Patay on June 18th, French cavalry caught the English longbowmen before they could set their stakes. The archers who had won Agincourt were routed before they could fight. The English army broke and ran. The Loire Valley was French. Joan told the Dauphin, "March to Reims." He hesitated. Reims was deep in enemy territory. She told him, "Advance boldly and fear nothing." Town after town opened its gates. The march to the coronation city had begun. Only Troyes resisted the city, where the 1420 treaty had handed the French crown to England. Joan appeared at the gates. The city surrendered the same day. On July 16, 1429, 10 weeks after Orléans, the French army entered Reims. The city that had been in English hands opened its gates without a fight. The coronation was prepared for the following morning. On July 17, 1429, Charles VII was crowned King of France in Reims Cathedral. Joan of Arc stood beside him in her armor, carrying her white banner. When the ceremony was over, she knelt before him. She told him she had accomplished what God had ordered of her. The only favor she asked was that her village of Domremy be exempt from taxes. She was 17 years old. She wanted to go home. She was never allowed to go home. The king had other campaigns. The war was not over, and Joan's voices had already told her that her time was running short. At Compiègne, in May 1430, Joan led a sortie from the city gates. The gates closed behind her too soon. She was surrounded by Burgundian forces. She was pulled from her horse. After 14 months of victories, she was a prisoner. She was sold to the English for 10,000 livres, taken to the castle of Rouen, held in an English military prison, not an ecclesiastical one, as the rules required, guarded by English soldiers, in chains. The trial lasted 5 months. She was charged with heresy, the voices, the male clothing, the claim of divine authority. She defended herself without a lawyer. She was 19 years old. She was convicted. On May 30th, 1431, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake. In the marketplace, at Rouen, she asked for a cross to hold. An English soldier made one from 2 sticks and gave it to her. She was 19 years old. The war she had turned ended 22 years later. In 1453, the English were expelled from all of France, except Calais, the nation that Joan had pulled back from, the edge of extinction, was whole again. 25 years after her death, a new trial was held. Joan of Arc was officially declared innocent. In 1920, nearly 500 years later, she was canonized as a saint. Music only extends. The cathedral at Reims still stands, the place where a 17-year-old who had never held a sword before 1429 stood in armor beside the king she had crowned. After crossing 240 miles of enemy territory, after breaking a 7-month siege in 9 days, after winning 4 battles in 5 weeks, after turning a 100-year war in a single summer, she asked for nothing except to go home. She never made it.